Start by making a slip knot and then chaining 130 chains. Join the two ends of your chain by putting a slip stitch into your first chain from the last chain. This will make it so that your ends are connected and you have a loop, the base of your top. For your second row, you're going to put one single crochet into every chain stitch. Now you're going to join your second row by making a slip stitch and then chaining one into that first stitch that started your row. Now you'll put one single crochet into every stitch, and you're going to repeat that for row 3 all the way to row 13. You can see here the completion up until row 13 of our single crochets. And you can see I just have a safety pin there marking the beginning of my work since it's a circle. Now we're going to do a row of treble crochets. So we're going to chain 4, wrap our yarn around our hook twice to make our treble, go into that second stitch, pull our yarn through, then pull it through the first 2 loops, pull it through the second 2 loops, and then through the last 2 loops to make a treble. So we're going to continue doing 1 treble crochet into each stitch until the end of our row, where we'll join with a slip stitch, chain 4, and repeat that row of trebles. So now you can see here I've completed my second row of trebles, and I'm going to join the second row with a slip stitch. And once I've done that, I'm going to chain 2, and we're going to make half double crochets into each of the stitches. So that's 1 half double crochet into every stitch for 1 row. And when you finish that row, you'll again join with a slip stitch. Then we'll continue on our pattern of doing 2 rows of trebles and 1 row of half double crochets. You see here that I've completed my row of half double crochets because I have reached my safety pin, and I'm going to go ahead and take this out so that I can join my rows with a slip stitch. Once I've joined my row, I'm going to go ahead and chain 4 to prepare to start using the treble crochet. So once I've chained 4, I'm going to make 1 treble crochet into each of those stitches by wrapping the yarn around my hook twice, pulling through, then the first 2 loops, the second 2, and the last 2 loops. So I'm going to continue this pattern and repeat the sequence of 2 rows of treble crochets and 1 row of half double crochets 3 times. So that's a total of 4 of that pattern. So this is what our top looks like after doing our base of single crochets and then our pattern of 2 rows of trebles and 1 row of half double crochets. Now we'll start the halter. For this part of my work, I'm only going to be crocheting halfway across my top. And so I'm going to move my safety pin to the other side so that I do not have to count every one of my stitches. I'll just know I finished when I've reached the safety pin. So I finished on a row of half double crochets, which means that following our pattern, a row of trebles will be next. So I'm going to chain 4. Then I'm going to put 1 treble crochet into each of the stitches until I reach my safety pin, or halfway across my top. Now you can see that I've chained 4 and turned my work once I got to my safety pin. Now I'm going to continue doing 1 treble crochet into each of my stitches until I reach the beginning of my previous row. So now you can see our 2 rows of treble crochets going halfway across. And I'm going to finish off the pattern by doing 1 row of half double crochets. First I'll chain 1, and then I'll put 1 half double crochet into each of the stitches until I reach the end of the previous row. So now we're going to start making the top of the halter become narrower as it reaches your neck. So we've chained 1, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet into that second stitch, and this is going to create an incline. We're going to put 1 half double crochet into that third stitch, 1 double crochet into the fourth stitch, and 1 treble crochet into the fifth stitch. Then we'll continue doing trebles, 1 treble into each stitch until you get to the 50th stitch or the 5th to last stitch in your row. So now we're going to repeat the pattern we used to make an incline in reverse to make a decline. So in that 5th to last stitch, we'll make a treble stitch, and then a double crochet, a half double crochet, a single crochet, and a single crochet. So now we're going to slip stitch into our first 5 stitches until we get to the 6th stitch, that second treble stitch. Now that we've got to that 6th treble stitch, we're going to make 1 half double crochet into each of our stitches until we reach the beginning of the decline on the other side. So we've reached the other side and the beginning of our decline, and so to finish out the row, we're going to put a slip stitch into each of those decline stitches. In this row, we're going to start our second incline, and so in order to get where we want our incline to begin, we're going to slip stitch in those first 5 stitches. Now, once we get past our first 5 stitches, we're going to start our second incline by doing a single crochet. Then we're going to do a half double crochet, a double crochet, and a treble crochet. Now you'll continue making 1 treble stitch into each of your stitches until you get to the 4th to last stitch of this row. So now we've reached the other side of our row with the 4th stitch before the decline. So we're going to do a treble crochet, a double crochet, a half double crochet, and a single crochet. And then we're just going to slip stitch till the end of the row. So in this way, we're going to start our third and final incline and decline. And so in order to get there, we're going to put slip stitches into the first 9 stitches of the row until you reach that second treble in your row. Now once you reach that second treble, we're going to start our incline with our single crochet, then our half double crochet, our double crochet, and our treble crochet. Then we'll continue our trebles until you reach the 4th to last stitch on the other side. Now that we've reached our 4th to last stitch, we're going to start our last decline. And we're going to do that by doing a treble stitch, then a double crochet, a half double crochet, and a single crochet. Then we'll do slip stitches until the end of our row. Now we flipped our work and we're going to slip stitch until we've reached the end of our incline, or the 13th stitch. So in the 14th stitch, we'll start our half double crochet row. So we've reached that 13th stitch, and we're just going to do 1 half double crochet for every stitch on this row until we get to the end or the beginning of our decline, and then we'll switch back to slip stitches. So we slip stitch to the end of the row, starting at our decline, and we're going to go ahead and cut our end and tie it off. And now we're done with the top portion. So now that we have our top, we'll need to make our straps. So to start, we'll have a slip knot, and we're going to chain 75. So now that we chained 75, we're going to do 1 single crochet into each of our stitches until we reach the end. Now that we have our single crochets done, we're going to join our strap to our top at the narrowest point up by the neck by pulling our crochet hook through our top and then through the loop and joining with 3 slip stitches to tighten it on there. And you're just going to repeat that process for your second strap and put it on the other side of that last finished row.